More than a dump truck's worth of plastic will have made it into the ocean. Plastic has become a useful part of our everyday lives, but it's polluting the air, water, and soil that all life needs to survive. This is a human problem that can be solved with human action. But it's going to take all of us, from individuals to businesses to governments and everyone in between. Help create a cleaner future for both people and nature. Visit wwf.earth/plastics.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. My grandpa Lou is the reason why my dad and I started racing, and I'm really proud to follow in his tracks. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. I've learned a lot on this journey with my grandpa Lou, and the memories of my grandpa will always be with me. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Talking about Alzheimer's can be really tough. But if you notice something, have a conversation with your loved one. Encourage them to see a doctor or offer to go with them. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. The Alzheimer's Association provides care, support, and research to help you take control of the situation with your family and manage the disease together. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
KDKA and KDKA-FM HD2 Pittsburgh. W261AX Pittsburgh.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Aetna Medicare studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
It is 34 degrees at Pittsburgh International at 11 o'clock. I'm Rob Taylor. The U.S. has won the gold medal in men's hockey. Just moments ago in overtime, as the U.S. and Canada played 3-on-3 hockey, Jack Hughes scored the golden goal to give the U.S. its first gold medal in men's hockey since 1980. Final score, U.S. 2, Canada 1. The U.S. wins the gold medal in men's hockey at the Winter Olympics 46 years to the day that they defeated Russia on the Miracle on Ice. And then in that year, of course, they won the gold medal 2 days later against Finland. Again, the U.S. winning the gold medal in men's hockey just moments ago, 2-1 over Canada. Much more on the Coons Black and Gold show coming up with Rob Pratt next here on KDKA Radio. In other news, today also marks 41 years since then 8-year-old Cherry Mahan disappeared after getting off a school bus near her Winfield Township, Butler County home. And Matthew Glover is a reporter with the Butler Eagle. He joined KDKA Radio's Rob Pratt earlier this morning and discussed how there's renewed interest in the case, largely due to a private investigator, Steve Ridge.
And one of the other things that he's brought is a lot of attention with a $100,000 award that he offered at a news conference in 2025. And so that has brought a lot of renewed attention to the case. Some people that have thought maybe they didn't have any, or maybe they don't have anything to say, but maybe now that that reward has come up, that gives them a little more motivation to come out and speak if they had seen or heard anything about the case.
A group known as Cherry's Angels have made a push to help solve the case. A man is dead following an officer-involved shooting. It happened in Heidelberg overnight. Police say a man was threatening to harm themselves inside of a home on Washington Street just after midnight. When police arrived, they found the man outside the home with a knife. Police then say the man disobeyed orders to drop the knife, and he allegedly charged towards the officers. Scott Township police officer then shot the man multiple times. The man later died at the hospital. Allegheny County police are leading the investigation. KDK Radio News time is 11:02. It's time to visit RomeMonuments.com. Life is a journey to remember. Memorialize that journey. RomeMonuments.com. The AccuWeather forecast coming up next.
The biggest reason Metropolitan Window Company has been in business since 1978 is our huge list of satisfied customers.
John, Maggie, and Justin Schmutzer here from Metropolitan Window Company, Pittsburgh's locally owned and family-operated window and door company for over 47 years.
When you choose Metropolitan Window Company, you're getting expertise and attention to detail from a trusted business that puts your needs first.
You're also getting our exclusive Infinity from Marvin 100% fiberglass windows that are built for life.
The most important part of a window is the framing. Fiberglass frames won't lose their dimensional integrity. They're the strongest, longest-lasting window you can buy.
And right now, you can save 20% and get financing on every window and door product we offer.
Stop by one of our showrooms, visit us at metropolitanwindows.com, or give us a call at 412-655-8411.
PA 1565.
Here's a tale of Linda trying to lose weight, but the med prices she found were all over the place.
Hidden fees and markups made her jaw drop low. Then she found Good RX. Now she's in the know.
GLP-1 subscriptions FDA approved.
With clear upfront pricing.
And same-day pickup.
That's Good RX, the no-nonsense way. Save time and money on prescriptions.
Get to goodrx.com/weight loss. GoodRx is not insurance.
Ah, the most beautiful time of year is upon us. Tax season. And TaxSlayer is here to help you file. We guarantee 100% accuracy and your maximum refund. Those are some good numbers. And you can trust me, because I'm a talking calculator. Did I mention TaxSlayer even has support from real U.S.-based humans? If you have any questions along the way, beat the rush and start for free today. TaxSlayer. File fearlessly.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver, and we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. My grandpa Lou is the reason why my dad and I started racing, and I'm really proud to follow in his tracks. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. I've learned a lot on this journey with my grandpa Lou, and the memories of my grandpa will always be with me. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Talking about Alzheimer's can be really tough, but if you notice something, have a conversation with your loved one. Encourage them to see a doctor or offer to go with them. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. The Alzheimer's Association provides care, support, and research to help you take control of the situation with your family and manage the disease together. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. Visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
Today looks colder with snow continuing at times. Expect mainly wet roads with a high of 35. But for tonight, the snow and flurries continue at times with a low of 28. Tomorrow brings more clouds and a couple more snow showers with storm total snowfall of 1 to 3 inches, high 32. Then still cloudy Tuesday, high 33. For AccuWeather, I'm LaTroy Thornton, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
It's sports down and dirty, Pittsburgh style. It's the Black and Gold Sunday Show on News Radio KDKA. Presented by Coons Market, a Pittsburgh tradition. And brought to you by Leon's Billiards and more.
As you heard Rob just moments ago, they win. Jack Hughes scores the OT goal, and Team USA will hoist the gold in that ceremony moments away. It'll be taking place in Italy, where they defeated Team Canada without Sidney Crosby. He's been out since that lower body injury against Chechnya. That's the first time they have won the men's gold medal, Team USA, since the Miracle on Ice. Do you believe in miracles? Al Michaels, you remember, Lake Placid, New York, 1980. And here's the headline in that Post-Gazette app just moments ago. Jack Hughes scores in overtime as U.S. beats Canada for gold at the Olympics. Even though he knows baseball, he loves sports. So as we go to Florida, here's Jason Mackey. How about that Team USA? What a hockey match, huh, Jason?
Yeah, I didn't see a minute of it, but it sure looked interesting.
Yeah, it was, man. It was.
I'm watching batting practice.
Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Hey, listen, I'm a little bit older than you, and I was on that Pirate beat long before you got involved. Did Pirate Sunday for a long time and been doing sports in one form or another for 40 years. Mav's always been very special to me and had a relationship with him and connected to his high school because I did play-by-play there many years ago. But I got to ask you, you being the baseball pro here, I never realized how this guy's story, not just the Yankees, but what he did defensively in the Hall of Fame, his time in Pittsburgh was such a big deal that major network newscasts were leading with this. I'm on the treadmill this morning at 2 a.m. and ESPN's doing a feature on it, and the Post-Gazette has been all over it, as has 93.7 The Fan and KDK and Odyssey. So Maz, even though we want to claim him as our own, he was more than just Pittsburgh Bill Mazeroski, right, Jason?
Yep. I mean, it's I don't really know what I can add to the conversation surrounding Maz, but I'll do my best. Being down here, obviously we're getting a firsthand look at what he meant to people, and Don Kelly's been pretty composed in our dealings with him. Obviously a very, very, good and level-headed man, but you could tell that he was shaken talking about Maz yesterday, and just the vibe around here, talking to various people. I talked to Jim Tredenich, the team historian, Tony Beasley yesterday, the third base coach who has dealt with Maz for a while. A lot of people have a lot of emotions, but I think what is sort of just amazing to me is his humility. We can talk about his defensive prowess and the impact of the home run that he hit and what he meant to those Pirates teams. And it's all amazing, right? And you saw it firsthand, and fans have witnessed it firsthand. I was not that lucky, but I love where today's athlete has gone, and you just don't see many people that are a throwback like Maz that just, I watched his Hall of Fame speech several times yesterday, just remembering that's just such typical Maz. He didn't want to talk about himself. He wasn't a showy guy, fit in our city. So anyway, it's just one of a kind, really. It's sad to see him go, but he didn't get cheated, that's for sure.
Well said. Now, let's move on to why you're here. The Pirates and the team that'll be coming north to take on the Mets very soon. Yesterday, it's only a spring training game. We have another one today at 1, 93.7 The Fan taking on Tampa. O'Hearn and Rodriguez go deep. They beat Baltimore yesterday. Look, I just have a different feel this year, and I know it's very early, but my gut is just telling me, and we're going to go over some of the names that are going to be in this lineup. I just have a really good feeling that at least we did something that is going to give me a little hope. Fact or fiction? Go ahead.
No, I think it's fact. There's a much different vibe. I'm in this clubhouse every day, multiple times a day. I've been around this team through some pretty lean times over the past 5,000 years. I've not seen anything like this. It's very healthy. Just one small example, I was in the clubhouse this morning looking at Marcelo Zuna, Johan Ramirez, O'Neal Cruz, Esmerlin Valdez, Andy Rodriguez, a whole bunch of the Latin American players in the corner, setting up chairs, a circle, just yucking it up, laughing, having a great time. To me, that's healthy, and then Brian Reynolds comes over and he's in the middle of it. So you're seeing interactions from players of all different nationalities. And you've got a row of pitchers that really, really love competing, challenging themselves. There's a nice edge. Some of the offseason additions have fit in very well. I mentioned Ozuna, but Brandon Lau, Ryan O'Hearn, Jake Mangum. You've got young and exciting players, the Connor Griffin variety, obviously Skeens, Bubba Chandler. But man, just a really nice mix of things. I like what I'm seeing.
All right, so let's talk about a position that any time in my lifetime or covering the Pirates, when they had success, they had guys, like Spanky LaValliere and Jason Kendall and Tony Pena. They had catchers, obviously Manny. What about the catching situation right now with the Pittsburgh Pirates?
Yeah, it's a unique one. It's certainly different than having the one guy, Spanky, Kendall, Manny, whatever. It's Henry would probably be the guy, but Joey Bart being on the roster, they have to play him. They have to give him an opportunity to contribute. And if they want him to hit, they have to give him at bats to hit. So if you want to chop it up with 5 days and have Henry play 3 and Joey play 2, it's probably what you do. I also think there's some measure of uncertainty just because Bart could profile he does profile as a trade candidate. I'm saying I guess they could pull the trigger on a trade. They would still like to get a left-handed starter in here, maybe a third baseman, and Joey Bart would make sense to move. So it might not be set. Andy Rodriguez has looked very good. You mentioned his homer yesterday in Sarasota. Rafael Flores is a young catcher they got in the David Bednar trade from the Yankees. So, it's a deep position. It's just not a traditional setup right now where you have one guy. Even in the 13, 14, 15 years, you look at Russell Martin or Francisco Cervelli, those types. Cervelli's here, by the way, with Team Italy today. But, there's not one clear-cut guy.
All right, question mark behind this name. We talked about O'Neal Cruz a little bit last time, and you mentioned him moments ago. I'm fascinated by him because he's a baseball player, and he's a guy who's got a nice contract from the Pirates. So, question mark, Brian Reynolds. What do you say when I say Brian Reynolds?
Can you be a little bit more specific?
I mean, what would you like to see from Brian Reynolds? What do you think he's capable of doing realistically?
I think Brian Reynolds can be one of their best players. He was a 6-WAR player in 2021. I don't expect him to go back to that, but I would expect 3 and 4, somewhere in that range. He needs to hold his own defensively in left field. We've talked to Brian a few times, and he was not happy with his performance last year, was not happy with how his barrel moved through the zone, not to get all nerdy, but it's just, some of the minutia of his swing, I think, is what he felt led to his downturn in numbers. I tend to agree with him. I think there's a lot more in there. He needs to be one of the anchors for this team, hitting the heart of the order. I don't know whether it'll be in the number 2 spot, maybe, 3, 4, 5, somewhere in that range. But, for the Pirates to have a good season, they need Brian Reynolds to bounce back. I think it's also going to help him that he has some lineup protection. Him and O'Neal Cruz, I think last year there was just such a dilution of talent or offensive force there that it was easy to pitch around guys. It's not that way anymore.
Jason Mackey, Pittsburgh Post-Gazette in Bradenton. One more, and being that I've got Maz on my mind, I'm kind of dipping back to kind of think about the present and the future. Another place that the Pirates were always successful when they were doing well, Mad Dog, obviously, Richie Hebner, others, third base. And then, of course, first base. You had Willie Stargell late in his career, Bob Robertson, now Oliver. So Spencer Horowitz at first, I can live with it. I'm wishing we could find another Josh Bell that could actually stick and live up to the headlines, but I'm pretty satisfied with Spencer Horowitz. How much more do you think we can get out of him at first base?
He was one of their best hitters last year. You should be satisfied with him. And relatively speaking, he was pretty good. Now, I understand that it came in a weird way where he was hurt at the beginning, he was bad once he came back, and then he really caught fire. I think what I want to see from Spencer Horowitz is just evening that out a little bit. And I think Spencer Horowitz wants to even that out a little bit. I think he's more than capable of doing it. I think first base is probably going to be a somewhat of a platoon, but not a total platoon, because you want Horowitz to get at bats to get comfortable. But he'll a lot of times hit a right-hander. If there's a lefty on the mound, you might see Ryan O'Hearn go over there. But I like Horowitz a lot. He's held his own defensively. There's pop in there. He's not going to hit 40 homers, but he's going to have an OPS, hopefully in the high 700s, and it should be another one of their core 1 through 6, maybe 1 through 7 hitters.
All right, Jason, good stuff. I appreciate it, and thanks for carving out a little time this week and last. Okay?
All right. You got it. Take care. Thanks, Rob.
There he goes,
Bye.
Jason Mackey. Now, big story, Jack Hughes. I had to give him a little bit of time to get settled in. He was at a buddy's house watching the hockey match. But in case you haven't heard, Jack Hughes in overtime gives Team USA a 2-1 win against Team Canada. First time they were hoisting the gold. They're doing that right now up on the podium. National anthem in the background in Italy. The United States wins a big one. Jack Hughes gets the game-winning goal in overtime, and the head hockey coach of Robert Morris, Derek Schooley, talks about it next on the Coons Market Black and Gold Sunday Show.
Your source for everything that's news. Hear it on News Radio KDKA.
Time now for a Black History Month Spotlight.
Today we honor Layla Edwards, a native of Cleveland Heights, Ohio. Edwards played a crucial role in Team USA's victory at the 2026 Winter Olympics, becoming the first Black American woman to win a gold medal in women's hockey as the U.S. defeated Canada in overtime. She also made history as the first Black woman to represent the United States in Olympic women's hockey. Edwards has spoken about facing microaggressions growing up in the sport, even being told to play basketball instead of hockey. But her father put her on skates at age 3 and helped fuel her dream. She also has a Pittsburgh connection, playing for the Pittsburgh Penguins Elite 12U team. From the rinks of Western Pennsylvania to Olympic gold, Layla Edwards is proof that perseverance breaks barriers, and today we celebrate her historic achievements.
As the old saying goes, size matters.
At Morgan & Morgan, we have over 1,000 lawyers and nearly 6,000 people on staff.
But at the core, this is and always has been a family business.
Our family watching out for your family.
Call us or email us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even on a Saturday or a Sunday.
And if you ever have a problem, call our mom.
Morgan & Morgan.
For the people and your family.
Injured? Dial #law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Febreze.
New Febreze Air Mist has 50% more odor fighters and up to 30% more fragrance than the old formula. So now you can take on 100% more stinky odors, like sweaty gym bags, greasy cooking smells, and the after effects of the dog rolling around in something. Just spray, and New Febreze Air instantly restores just clean freshness. Smell you later, odor.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la. Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
It's the Black and Gold Sunday Show on News Radio KDKA. Presented by Coons Market, a Pittsburgh tradition.
Well, this wasn't a miracle, but it was a moment of magic. 46 years to the day after a bunch of unheralded amateurs stunned the heavily favored Soviet Union en route to winning the Olympic gold, the U.S. men's hockey team engineered an epic victory. The Americans won a battle of the sport's superpowers today, toppling longtime nemesis Canada 2-1 in overtime to win the country's first Olympic gold in men's hockey since the famed 1980 Miracle on Ice. And the head coach of Robert Morris, Derek Schooley, had a chance to see it. Man, Coach, talk about a thriller, especially in the final few minutes of regulation, and then Jack Hughes gets the icing on the cake with the OT goal. How are you, and good morning? A great day for hockey, right?
Oh, what an instant classic that game was. That was outstanding. I think you saw passion, you saw penalties, you saw drama, you saw big saves by both goalies. That game had everything, and people always talk they want more scoring, but gosh, I don't know how you could beat a 2-1 overtime game with the everybody on pins and needles watching that. But what a hockey game.
You know, I was looking at Sydney up on the screen as they were getting their silver medals, and obviously he's got a little silver in the hair and he's not the kid anymore, but you could see the disappointment on his face. Now, I'm not saying it would have been a definite difference maker, but if he's in the lineup for Team Canada, it's definitely more interesting, is it not?
Absolutely, it is. And I mean, you're talking one of the greatest players of all time. And to have him out of the lineup was probably really disappointing. But it had to be something that he couldn't go and risk his team, hurting his knee, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, when you're talking best, yeah, obviously he's going to be a difference maker. But the really cool thing about that is that was Game 7. That was Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Best on best, and you couldn't have asked for a better hockey game. And unfortunately, Sydney didn't get to participate, and Jake Gensel was there, former Penguin, but I don't know if you could ask for a better Sunday morning.
Well, listen, obviously he's okay. He's having the Big Apple, and he's making a nice paycheck. But Bob Marley once had a song that I love called the Redemption Song. And if anybody got a little redemption today, our friend Mike Sullivan coaching Team USA, how sweet is that, huh?
Absolutely, and they've been through a lot, obviously leaving Pittsburgh here and now in New York, and they've struggled this year, kind of going through a rebuilding process. But he's won 2 Stanley Cups for a reason. He was picked to lead that team for a reason, and motivator, what a really good person. I mean, you go through the whole thing. I mean, really good to hockey in the United States, hockey in Pittsburgh. He was really friendly with our Colonial program. So, yeah, it's good to see a lot of names that you recognize and have a lot of dealings with win a gold medal today.
Listen, a lot of people credit people like Mario and Sid, and even going back to Yarmir, and you want to go back to Pierre LaRouche is the reason why we've had such a surgence in hockey in Western Pennsylvania. But I'm going to be up front with you. I think what you've done at Robert Morris has had a lot to do with why we are climbing mountains now when it comes to players from this part of the country making it to the big leagues. How satisfying is it? Team USA wins this. And I got to tell you, I had to Google it a couple of times today and did research even early before the sun came up because I still had a hard time believing that this was the first time that they were having a chance to win the gold since that Miracle on Ice in 1980. That's been a bit of a drought. Hard to believe it's been that long with all this talent that's from the United States of America.
Well, they did lose the one where Crosby scored the golden goal, but like you said, it has been a long drought. It has been. They started the national development team program to make hockey better, and not only in the United States, but in grassroots areas like Pittsburgh. And you see that. You see the amount of players playing in the National Hockey League from Pittsburgh. You see 2 NHLers playing on the U.S. Olympic team from Pittsburgh. You see players that played for the Penguins, coached for the Penguins. And that's USA Hockey. And Jack Hughes said it after the game. That's the brotherhood, and that's what USA Hockey's doing to elevate the game. And the grassroots of Pittsburgh is growing. We've had numerous players from Pittsburgh play on our team. We've got Michael Felsing right now, who's a Pittsburgh native, and I think you're just seeing a lot of guys that we even have played against, the Colonials have played against at the RMU Island Sports Center, that were playing in that game, and it's pretty cool to see.
It is, but to think that's the first goal since 1980, that's amazing when you think about all the talent, and I think it's just the beginning. So let's talk some X and O's in this game. So all the experts saying U.S. defense, Canada, high-flying speed. Obviously, 1-1 at the end of 60, so defense worked. What were they able to do to slow Canada down?
Well, you got great defensemen, and I think the biggest thing that they had was an outstanding goaltender tonight. And Connor Hellebuyck made some saves that were just unreal. The empty net chance that he had, where he got a stick on it. I don't even remember from Canada who tried to tap that in, but McKinnon missed a couple. Celebrini missed a couple, and then McAvoy made a save behind him. But when you're talking defense, it starts with your goaltender. You talk about redemption stories. Connor Hellebuyck's been the guy that people have talked about not being able to win games, not being able to win championships. He was the MVP in the NHL last year, and to be able to do that. But I think the one thing that everybody who watched this game had to see is the ability for all of them to skate. And they were able to match the McDavid speed, the McKinnon speed, the Celebrini speed with guys like Quinn Hughes, Zach Rowinski, Charlie McAvoy. Those guys can skate. They're not the biggest, but they can skate and defend with their feet. And I think that's what they did tonight.
Matthews, McDavid, it's sad to say that we're at the end of an era with people like Crosby, maybe a little longer, Ovechkin, Malcolm here in Pittsburgh. But I would say that Mr. Bettman has to be pleased. The talent pool is not thin. There's a lot of giant talent that's going to be around representing the National Hockey League and representing their countries in Olympics to come. I don't think the sport of hockey has ever been healthier.
No, you're right. There's so many young stars, and you're just getting younger. Even guys that didn't even make the Olympics, like Connor Bedard and Cole Caulfield and Jason Robertson, guys that are just young, up and coming guys. And you see it even in Pittsburgh. They're going young, and you see how good the game is become. And like I said, it's because they can skate. It's not the old days of fighting and physical play. They defend with their feet. They still play hard. They use good sticks as far as blocking passes. But the forwards are just so dynamic and can skate and make plays. And that's what they're going to build this game around. And Connor McDavid, face of the program. You got the Tkachuks, who are skilled but play physical. And like you said, Austin Matthews, you go down the list of players that are the future of this game. But you still do have the old guard that are still there to keep everybody honest.
All right, two things real quick before we go. Muse and what the Penguins have been able to do. What happened there? I mean, he's an analytics type of guy, but was it just change of scenery maybe? But what has this guy done to make the Penguins look as good as they've looked, do you think?
Well, Dan's been a winner, and he won a national championship here in Pittsburgh with Yale way back when, and in the USHL and the National Development Program. And he's just brought a new energy, a younger, and sometimes it's just a different voice. And that's the thing. We've had Crosby and all these guys for so long. Mike Sullivan's a good coach, but sometimes his voice just goes on deaf ears when it's been 10 years, 12 years. And I think those are things that, sometimes a different voice, different energy, like you said, analytics based. It's a new type of regime with the Penguins, and I think they're reaping the rewards of it right now.
Now, you're the hockey coach, but I'm the storyteller. You realize what's happening somewhere in this country as we speak. There is a young man or woman in the garage or in the basement with a laundry basket or a spare tire shooting pucks into it right now. You realize that, don't you?
Well, I got 3 kids who play the game. 2 of them are at the college level. One's playing junior hockey, and yeah, you know that inspires people to go on the ice. And in between breaks, there was a little feature on Layla Edwards there, and her path through Pittsburgh. Layla Edwards played for Penn's Elite. I got a chance to coach her when she was 12 when she played with my daughters. Ava McNaughton on the women's team, both won gold. She was from Pittsburgh. There's somebody from Pittsburgh right now inspired by that game that are either going to just go out and want to play hockey for fun, and it'll be a lifelong passion up until they're in their 50s and 60s, or it's somebody that's going to be a superstar. And that's what's great about this game. Just wish it would have been a little later, maybe around 10-ish to get a bigger audience, but to see bars open, to see restaurants open, to see watch parties everywhere. I mean, I set my alarm to make sure that I was up in plenty of time. That's what hockey is. That's what this does. Unfortunately, it's every 4 years, but you're going to have another Four Nations Classic here soon. And what a great day for hockey this was, to quote the old Penguin coach Bob Johnson.
Well, make no mistake about it. I consider you a friend, and more importantly, you've done a lot for men and women in the sport of hockey, and that's not just a good thing, it's a great thing. Coach Derek Schooley, Robert Morris, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, Rob.
All right, stay tuned. News coming up, and then we're right back at it with Bruce Tanner. We continue our tribute to Bill Mazeroski.
For generations, you've listened to us in your kitchen, catching baseball games on your front porch, and ending your day as your bedtime buddy. Now, you can watch us every day on your TV with our new KDKA Radio YouTube page, or by clicking on KDKARadio.com. It's presented by Metropolitan Windows. Same great content, more live visuals. The voice of Pittsburgh, 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
From the Aetna Medicare Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
It is 34 degrees at Pittsburgh International at 11:30. I'm Rob Taylor. Team USA just won its 12th gold medal of the Olympic Winter Games in Milan, and it was a dramatic win, a win that will be talked about forever. In men's hockey, the U.S. defeating Canada in overtime, 2-1 the final score. Jack Hughes scoring the golden goal for Team USA to give the U.S. its first gold medal in men's hockey in 46 years, since 1980. The players just receiving their gold medals on the ice just moments ago. KDK Radio News time now, 11:31. More news coming up at noon. I'm Rob Taylor on the Voice of Pittsburgh News Radio, KDKA.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
I built this business the old-fashioned way. Hard work and a whole lot of spreadsheets.
Yeah, about that, I upgraded us to Odoo. Odoo puts everything we need, sales, inventory, accounting, on one connected platform. No more juggling systems, no more headaches.
So it all works together?
Exactly.
Odoo is the all-in-one business software that makes running and passing on a business easier than ever. Take your business into the next generation. Try Odoo free at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
Zero Res wants to give your home the love and attention it deserves. Get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned, starting at just $119, and take $75 off your air duct cleaning. Book online at ZeroResPGH.com and mention KDKA. Larry Richard for CertaPro Painters. For more than a decade, I've been working with CertaPro Painters, doing great work for me, and now is the time. Get a free estimate, get on the schedule at the right price. You never have to wonder what's next with CertaPro CertaPro Painters. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated right here in our community. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. When choosing a painting professional, the choice is simple. Choose happy. Choose CertaPro Painters.
We're all human with the same insecurities, doubting ourselves, thinking we're not worthy or good enough, believing those negative thoughts we think. Stop! Every last one of us is good enough to be the best version of ourselves. This is Dr. Shufo from the Weight Loss and Wellness Center. Come to me, and together we'll change that way of thinking. Excess pounds will come off, you'll feel and look better, and thoughts will become positive. If you want to change, just call me at 1-800-900-THIN.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks Vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks Vapors when you need more comfort for yourself. Use as directed.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
A cloudy day awaits us today with more snow out there, high 33. It continues off and on tonight and tomorrow, accumulating 1 to 3 inches. 27 tonight, 32 tomorrow in clouds, and 33 Tuesday. For AccuWeather, I'm Bill Degger, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
All right, it is chilly now over the weekend. Monday, I'll be back in a little bit late start. We got warm weather baseball down in Florida. So catch me Monday after Pirate Baseball, all the way till 6 o'clock. Colin Dunlap, KDK.
Yeah, we had that win against Baltimore yesterday. The Fan has got the game today at 1, Tampa, then the Yankees tomorrow, right here on KDK Radio before Colin. And then tomorrow night, I will be with you. We've got some WPIL Championship basketball. That playoff is underway, and everybody's trying to get to play for the gold, and they've got a couple more games to go before that happens, and we've got Newcastle in action tomorrow night against Central Catholic. You're going to hear that right here beginning at 7 o'clock. Speaking of Newcastle, a young man that knows a little bit about that, obviously, and he is Bruce Tanner. He joins me now. And Bruce, it's been a very busy day today. I got to get your thoughts. Team USA, they hoist the gold. Jack Hughes gets the OT goal, and that's the first gold medal for Team USA since 1980. Pretty cool, huh?
Oh, I thought that was fantastic. I just got done watching it myself, and the emotion that those players showed was incredible. And then you wonder sometimes you wish other sports could stop in the middle of their seasons and have something like this that you remember forever.
Listen, I'll be honest with you. When Sydney got hurt, I kind of believe that a lot of these athletes should not be able to play in these games. And now we got the World Baseball stuff happening. A lot of people question that, too. I mean, you got a guy like a Skeens who's now playing, or somebody plays in there of that caliber, and something goes wrong. There's a lot on the line. What do you think of a guy who was a big league pitcher and has been a scout on and off your entire adult life? And I don't think anybody knows more about the game than you, but especially being a pitcher, things can go wrong quickly when you get into these type of tournaments.
You know, they can. You saw the one Diaz celebrated, and he tore his knee up a couple years ago. But no, you do see it. I think what happens now, though, is it's a little more controlled in that they tell these guys well in advance, or they want to pitch for the country, and so that they prepare themselves further in advance. The one thing is they don't go very many innings, so it's almost treated like a pre-spring training, and he's not going to get extended very many innings. You start the season a little bit earlier. You start spring training a little bit earlier. I will say for a guy like Skeens, who they like to monitor his innings, it could help. It could hurt the Pirates a little bit much deeper into the season if they have to really watch his workload.
All right, now let's get down before we talk about this year's team. Because of your family and who you are, you know Maz better than anyone. I mean, I was fortunate to know him, and I've been saying this over and over. Not that I didn't love him, not that I didn't realize who he is. As Bob Dvorak says, if they build a statue for you, you must have did something right. We've all seen it, remembered it, and his body of work on and off the field. but I never realized how this guy was such a story worldwide. Every major news network last night, this morning, I'm on the treadmill at like 2 in the morning. He's a feature on ESPN. I mean, every print media, electronic media, social media outlet, they've all been talking about our beloved Maz. And as I told Jason Mackey from the PG moments ago, and I'll tell you, yeah, he's one of ours, but man, everybody loved Bill Mazeroski.
They sure did. And I was, when I saw that he had passed away, I reflected a little bit on myself of how blessed I've been to be able to walk into any clubhouse and sit down and talk to Stargell like it's you and me talking right now, or Maz or Parker or Bruce Keeson or, these people that have all left us. I'm like, I was so blessed to have been able to just sit down and like you and I are talking right now and have no problem saying, hey, Maz, how you doing today? And he has a conversation. But, with him, I think it just shows you that one moment in time can change not only your life and the people around you, but like you said, worldwide, that one swing that he took is what will be remembered not only in Pittsburgh, but obviously all of the United States as well.
My beloved Yankees, and I am a Yankees fan, they're my second favorite team next to the Pirates. And, I mean, Yogi Berra, Joe DiMaggio would be here all night. But Mickey Mantle, number 7, truly one of the all-time greats. He talked about many times this was the worst loss of his career, how he cried in the bus all the way back to the airport. And from that day forward, he never could lose the taste of losing in that 7th game to Bill Mazeroski. He understands it's competitive baseball and things happen, but that was the worst loss he ever suffered. And when you think of Mickey Mantle, the Mick, and him being connected to what Maz did on that October 13th in 1960, that alone should give you a little bit of a flavor of how significant that day was, not just in Pittsburgh, but in the baseball mecca, meaning New York and the Bronx.
Oh, for sure. And I think it was the most lopsided World Series in history, where when the Pirates lost 3 games, they absolutely got demolished. And when they won the 4 games, I think every one of them was pretty darn close. So it was a series completely dominated by the Yankees, and I think that's what made it so special. Is here you got a guy that wasn't all that well known to begin with, and ends up being the hero. And like I said, he took the one swing in the moment in time that at that time, slayed the Goliath.
All right, listen, your expertise pitching, and listen, no one, I said this before, you could have went into the broadcast booth and never skipped a beat. Being a scout on and off, I think incredible talent. You made it to the big league, so you have every right to speak about these players from the heart because you know the game and you've been a part of the game since day one. But we're going to get to pitching in just a moment. Just a couple of names that we didn't talk about last week, but just some of these guys that are going to be in the lineup and what you expect from them. I was talking to Jason Mackey. Anytime the Pirates have been successful, they've always had good catching. What do you make of the catching position? And is there any hope that maybe Henry Davis can live up to the billing?
I hope so. I've seen him made huge strides defensively. So you do hope that he can make some strides offensively. I think he's got a mindset a little bit where he gets a little bit too aggressive early in the count, and he doesn't really always get a good ball to hit, and he gets heavy pull mode. But hopefully, as he's maturing like he did on the defensive side, that he can carry it over to the offensive side. I think Bart, is a nice backup. And then Endy Rodriguez looks like he's coming back healthy, and hopefully if he does, then he can show some of the flashes he did when he was younger as well.
So O'Hearn and Endy did homer yesterday in that win against Baltimore. But let's talk about this outfield. In left, Ryan O'Hearn, he homered. Center yesterday, center fielder O'Neal Cruz were all hoping for the best. And Brian Reynolds in right field. If you look at those three, as far as our outfield, what are your thoughts?
It's a nice outfield. Like I had said it last week, I'd rather prefer O'Hearn in right field in Pittsburgh and Reynolds in left, only because the ball in right field, if it's over your head, it's either gone or off the wall. You don't have to move much in right field in PNC Park. That left field, you almost have to have a second out center fielder in left field, because that's where, like, Brian Giles played, and you have to really cover some ground out there. So I think that's where you'd benefit Reynolds being out there. Now, when they go on the road, they can flip-flop because I don't think O'Hearn throws that well. The one kid, that Mangum that they got from Tampa Bay, he will be a nice guy to plug in once in a while. If you get ahead in the game, you remove O'Hearn. You let this kid come in for defensive purposes. So I think overall it's got a chance to be a nice outfield.
All right, so we talked about Skeens, we talked about Keller, we talked about Jared Hughes last week, but one of the most unique aspects of this pitching rotation, and I had a chance to meet him at Pirate Fest, I mean, good enough to be drafted by, or recruited by Clemson in football to be a quarterback, so you know he's got the arm. Why am I so intrigued with Bubba Chandler other than the name? Go ahead.
I'll tell you what, he's a special kid. He's got a chance to be a real good one. I like already that he has developed the changeup, and most of the time, these young kids that throw the ball through the wall like he can, that is the last pitch to come along. But this kid already has a quality changeup, and I think when you're that far advanced, he's got a chance to be a really special top of the end of the rotation type guy. And he'll be a nice guy that eventually will sit right behind Skeens.
All right, in closing, Bruce Tanner, longtime scout, former big league pitcher. So happy to have him back. He was a regular for many years, but we're just happy we got him for a couple weeks here. So let's talk about the weaknesses, and then we'll get to the strengths. And obviously, spring training just underway. But what are still some of the weak points of this baseball team that you think need corrected? Go ahead.
Personally, I think they need a quality utility infielder. I don't feel great with Nick Gonzalez at shortstop. I know we're all waiting on Connor Griffin. I think we should allow that kid time to develop because he has not played one inning of AAA baseball yet. I don't care what he does in spring training. Spring training fools everybody, but we need to get somebody that will allow you to be able to supplement and put somebody at shortstop that you feel confident of having the ball hit to them. If you're going to build your main core of your team is basically geared around pitching, then you had better have somebody that can catch the ball at shortstop. Triolo came along really nice. I thought at the end of the year, if he can carry that over, he can be a nice third baseman, but he may have to go to shortstop at times to fill in. I'd like to see Horowitz move around the field a little bit, and I'd like to see O'Hearn play some first once in a while and see if Horowitz can move around the infield a little bit and play there. So, but overall, I think it's a much improved team from what they've had in the last several years.
I've been thinking a lot about the past and the present and the future because of Maz, obviously. And when I think of the Pirates being successful, I think of Lumber and Lightning. They could run the base paths, but they always had some pop in the lineup. And I really think with O'Hearn and, I think Brian Reynolds is capable, O'Neal Cruz, if he can get going, this may be the first Lumber lineup that we've had in a long time to where they can actually hit the ball out of the park.
I totally agree with you, and I like that they went out and got left-handed bats. And I think because you have to play to the ballpark sometimes, and when you're at PNC Park, as we all know, that right field's pretty darn short, and you might as well take advantage of it. And by going out and getting some of these left-handed bats, they should be able to do that, and they should be more productive offensively.
Bruce, listen, whatever you decide to do, you'll be great at it, but you always have a place here, and you've made this show better every time you're on it. Much respect and love for you, and nothing but success. And let's hope that this is the year that our Buccos can get headed back in the right direction, okay?
I agree with you 100%.
There he goes, the great Bruce Tanner. I'm telling you, one of the smartest minds in baseball. But, of course, the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree, does it not? Chuck's son. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back, jump in here with some news and notes, maybe get Rob Taylor involved in the mix a little bit. And then Gino DeMarco is going to come here because there's a lot of football stuff that's happening that I got to get some of his thoughts on because the NFL never takes a day off, and the draft is coming up, and the combines are next week. And then Ted will be here at the bottom of the hour with his regular weekly visit on the NFL. Greg is off this week, enjoying a little downtime with his wife, Pam. He'll be back with us next week. This is the Coons Market Black and Gold Sunday Show, KDKA.
We're only 60 days until the draft. Everything you need to know surrounding the draft is right here. It's brought to you by Bill Few Associates Wealth Management, 100.1 FM, and AM 1020 KDKA.
Jen, I didn't know you shopped here.
Hey, I'm hunting for something fresh for spring.
Oh, girl, skip them all. Jewelry Television has the best spring looks right now.
JTV, way ahead of you. Just hit up JTV.com yesterday, scored the cutest clover earrings, 2 tennis bracelets, and this gorgeous pearl ring.
Right now, new customers get $20 off any purchase of $99 or more at JTV.com.
Oh, and gold hoops and this turquoise bracelet.
Just a couple things, huh?
Maybe more than a couple.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy place, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy plates every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
Don't delay in getting that plumbing repair done. Call Palucci Plumbing today for all of your plumbing needs. From trenchless sewer repair and waterline repairs and replacement, hot water tanks, sewer camera inspections, to Pittsburgh potty repairs, no job is too small for Palucci Plumbing. Owners Amy and Nick Palucci have been in business for 26 years. So give them a call for your next plumbing repair or replacement. Palucci Plumbing, 412-782-5050. That's 412-782-5050.
This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. If you or someone you care about is facing a family law issue, let us set up a 1-hour Cordell Consult. The Cordell Consult is a meeting with a local attorney who will give you clear guidance about your options, whether it's a separation, a postnuptial agreement, divorce, or custody. CordellCordell.com.
Pittsburgh and Cranberry Township. Joseph Cordell. Licensed in Missouri and Illinois only.
Crowded waiting rooms. 5 rushed minutes with the doctor. No real answers, just solutions that mask symptoms. For so many, that's what healthcare has become. In and out, no time, no connection. Just another appointment on the schedule. At Pittsburgh Sinus Centers, it's different. They take the time to listen, explain, and design a plan built around you. Because real relief starts with understanding what's really going on, not just treating the surface. From allergy testing to in-office sinus and nasal procedures, their experienced team uses the latest technology and a personal touch to help you breathe, sleep, and live better. Here, you're not just another number. You're the reason they do what they do. Discover a better way to feel better, one that's built around you. Pittsburgh Sinus Centers. Schedule a consultation today. Call Pittsburgh Sinus Centers, 878-231-4950. 878-231-4950. That's 878-231-4950.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
The smartest way to spend your money is not to. Straight Talk offers free 5G phones for new and existing customers on Verizon's 5G network. So the refund money I don't spend on that free phone is the refund money I get to keep for my family. Smart.
Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Taxes and fees apply. Plan purchase required for free phone offers. Copyright 2026 Verizon.
Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
SchultzFord.com. 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 SchultzFord.com.
It's the Black and Gold Sunday Show on News Radio KDKA. Presented by Coons Market, a Pittsburgh tradition.
All right, I was going to get them on tomorrow night and give them a couple of segments, but we've got high school hoops on tomorrow night, so I had to get them on because no one's more connected to the Pirates and the Pittsburgh sports scene than this guy. Longtime beat writer with the Pirates, of course, our columnist as well, Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, Bob Dvorak. And as you said, and I've quoted so many times since, they don't build a statue unless you did something. You actually wore the number 9 in Little League because of Bill Mazeroski. We lost a legend. And, Bob, you've been saying this to me for years, and not that I just kind of shrugged it off. I love Maz for who Maz is, but you kept saying, Rob, this guy is somebody who's known around the baseball world, not just here in Pittsburgh. All the networks led with him. Features on the sports cables as early as this morning. I'm watching something on ESPN. Print media, electronic media, social media, scrolling, more Maz, dignitaries, past, present, connected to baseball or sports, even people in the media, all talking about the legend of Bill Mazeroski. So he was very special, Bob Dvorak.
It's an honor to be here with you, Rob, to celebrate the life and career of one of my all-time favorite people, Bill Mazeroski. And he was a man of the people, and yet his reputation, his status, he never even knew how many lives he touched, but he touched so many just by the way he carried himself, the way he went about his business, and, of course, the big moments in 1960 when he beat the Yankees with the home run.
What do you think made him so special? I think his humility had a lot to do with the love affair that Pittsburghers, that blue-collar humility in a blue-collar town, why we love this guy so much.
1,000%. And you know as well as I, Rob, that beautiful valley, Ohio, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, so many great people, so many great athletes came out of there. And here was Maz, maybe one of the most humble beginnings to a life that you're ever going to see. One-room shack, no indoor plumbing. Father was a coal miner, lost half his foot in an accident, and yet Maz was bound and determined. He had gifts, but he also worked at it too. He never said much, but he said volumes with his glove and the way he played. I have so many memories. I just thought of Dick Grote, who played shortstop next to Maz, and they set so many records on double play combinations. Dick Grote, and little tongue-in-cheek, said, if my wife could catch and throw a ball, she would have led the league in assists with Bill Mazeroski. He was that good. He could turn a double play. And I know he's remembered for that home run. Of course, the most famous home run in World Series history. But he was also the greatest defensive second baseman in the history of baseball. Now, that counts for something. That's, I said they put statues up to you when you do things like that. So I was covering the team, and he would come down to spring training as a special assistant. And distinctly remember the year he got into the Hall of Fame, 2001. And the coaching staff went around. They introduced themselves to all the players, and he stands up and says, "Hi, Bill Mazeroski, an old infielder."
Oh, my.
It was a more humble man you could not meet. When he was named when they had the All-Star game here at PNC Park, the Major Leagues made him the official spokesman for the All-Star game. And I saw Maz in the dugout, and I said, how do you feel about being a spokesman for the All-Star game? And he said, anybody that would have me as a spokesman ought to have their head examined, because he just never said anything.
Man, a few words. Even during his acceptance speech in Cooperstown. I mean, short and sweet, man.
Oh, he had 12 pages written out, and he wanted to pay homage to the defensive side of the ball, and he just couldn't get through it. He was just so overcome with, I thought it was the greatest acceptance speech ever. He just said, well, nobody wants to hear this crap. Thank you very much. It's an honor to be here. And then he sat down.
Well, I know one thing. When I think of his career and I look at his statistics, he'd be making about $15 million a year, don't you think?
Oh, yeah. And you know what? I researched this as much as I could. I don't think he ever made more than $18K a year. He played 17 seasons. He just, he wasn't the biggest name on that team. He might have been the backbone of that team. Other people were making the money, and that's just the way it was. But those guys got to play a game for a living. They felt honored and privileged to be able to do that, especially with their peers having to work so hard in the mines and the mills, and how lucky they were to have that. Bill Burden was his roommate on the road for 10 years.
Right.
And Burden said, I heard him say two things in 10 years. One, time to get up. And two, I think it's time for lunch.
Oh, we're going to miss Bill. We're going to miss him. But
I'll tell you, the memory I have when they dedicated the statue to him outside on Mazeroski Way outside of PNC Park.
Right.
I was going to go cover the event, and I'm walking down Mazeroski Way. And I spot an older gentleman, gray hair, had his arm out, his right hand, and he's holding his grandson's hand in his in the palm of his hand, and they're walking to the ceremony. It was Maz. Maz was walking to his own statue unveiling with his grandson's hand in his. And I don't think there could be a greater moment for anybody than him.
That's a Norman Rockwell painting. Hey, we still have you, and that's important to those of us who love this city. Bob Dvorak, thanks for squeezing in some time today, okay?
Listen, thank you for all you do and remembering the people that changed this city forever.
Absolutely. There he goes, Bob Dvorak. Stay tuned. We're also going to remember another great, Mike Wagner, the Steelers safety, maybe the best safety ever, who passed away recently, with Gino DeMarco, head coach of Geneva, next.
The Big K Morning Show with Larry Richards.
Sheldon Williams, so your new City of Pittsburgh Public Safety Director.
Just really want your listeners to know that one of the benefits, I would say, and the opportunities that I have to serve in this capacity is bringing a variety of experiences that I have and perspectives to better serve the citizens of Pittsburgh.
Weekday mornings 5:30 to 10 on the Voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
The Village at St. Barnabas, the perfect place for mom.
Let's be honest. The hearing aid industry is broken. Overpriced clinics, pushy appointments, bills of $5,000 or more. That's the trap they hope you fall into. Don't let it happen. Audion Hearing is the escape. Their FDA-registered hearing aids cost just a fraction of the big brands, starting at only $98. Instead of paying as much as $5,000 plus all the doctor appointments and wasted time, you get what you need with no prescriptions, no office visits, no time wasted, and no crazy price tag. Call 800-700-HERE. That's HEAR. Audion's cutting-edge devices are rechargeable, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. Try them risk-free for 45 days with lifetime support and real human help just a phone call away. Over 1 million people have already said yes to Audion Hearing. Join them. Don't let them take advantage of you. Break free from the trap. Call now 800-700-HERE. That's HEAR for a very special offer. 800-700-HEAR or 800-700-4327.
Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
KDKA and KDKA-FM HD2 Pittsburgh. W261AX Pittsburgh.
Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Aetna Medicare Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
It is 33 degrees at Pittsburgh International at 12 o'clock. I'm Rob Taylor. For the first time in 46 years, the U.S. has won the Olympic gold medal in men's hockey. This morning, the U.S. defeated Canada in overtime 2-1 to claim the gold. Jack Hughes' shot a few minutes into overtime was the golden goal. Robert Morris, men's hockey head coach Derek Schooley weighed in on the big moment this morning with KDKA Radio's Rob Pratt.
Oh, what an instant classic that game was. That was outstanding. I think you saw passion, you saw penalties, you saw drama, you saw big saves by both goalies. That game had everything, and people always talk they want more scoring, but gosh, I don't know how you could beat a 2-1 overtime game.
And for the U.S., it was their 12th gold medal overall in Milan and Cortina. In other news this afternoon, state police say a 7-year-old boy died after being hit by a vehicle in Greene County. This happened around 4:30 Saturday afternoon along South 88 Road. That's in Monongahela Township. Police say the boy was walking across the road when he was hit by a Honda HR-V driven by a 92-year-old man. State police are investigating the incident. Man is dead following an officer-involved shooting in Heidelberg. Police say a man was threatening to harm themselves with a knife inside of a home on Washington Street just after midnight. When police arrived, they found that man outside the home with the knife. Police then say the man disobeyed orders to drop the knife, and he allegedly charged towards the officers. That's when a Scott Township police officer then shot the man multiple times. The man later died at the hospital. Allegheny County Police are leading the investigation. KDK Radio News time is 12:02. We've got the AccuWeather forecast coming up.
Ready for custom window treatments? You've got options. At Lachina Drapery and Blind Factory, the Lachina family has been serving Pittsburgh homeowners for over 60 years. Choose from custom blinds, shades, shutters, and draperies made in Lachina's own factory and tailored to your home. Enjoy Lachina's free shop at home service or visit one of Lachina's 2 convenient locations in Dormont or Wexford. Call 412-665-4900. That's 412-665-4900. Lachina Drapery and Blind Factory. The quality you deserve.
Here's a tale of Linda trying to lose weight, but the med prices she found were all over the place.
Hidden fees and markups made her jaw drop low. Then she found GoodRx. Now she's in the know.
GLP-1 subscriptions FDA approved.
With clear upfront pricing.
And same-day pickup.
That's GoodRx, the no-nonsense way. Save time and money on prescriptions.
Get to goodrx.com/weight loss. GoodRx is not insurance.
Ah, the most beautiful time of year is upon us. Tax season. And Tax Slayer is here to help you file. We guarantee 100% accuracy and your maximum refund. Those are some good numbers. And you can trust me, because I'm a talking calculator. Did I mention Tax Slayer even has support from real U.S.-based humans? If you have any questions along the way, beat the rush and start for free today. Tax Slayer. File fearlessly.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
This afternoon, we'll see snow with a high of 33. It continues through tonight. Total accumulation by tomorrow, 1 to 3 inches. Low tonight, 27. Tomorrow's high, 32. Tuesday with clouds, 33. For AccuWeather, I'm Bill Degger, 100.1 FM at AM 1020 KDKA.
The following is an editorial by KDKA Radio Senior Vice President Market Manager Michael Spacciapoli.
Steelers fans who followed the team in the 70s know well the role Mike Wagner played in the Steel Curtain defense. His death is a reminder of the Steelers' rise from perennial losers to 6-time Super Bowl champions. The years Wagner was a key player in the Steelers' transformation is one part of NFL Film's documentary about Pittsburgh called The Football Town. The production exploring Western Pennsylvania's rich football heritage premieres next weekend at the Kamen Science Center. It will show how Pittsburgh's work ethic and community spirit are embedded in its football identity. Some call the city a cradle of the game. This is where professional football was born. It is where Pitt started playing college football in 1889. The same university is launching the first event at Arts Landing during draft week in April. The Pitt Block Party will include an interactive football museum featuring Panther legends and their pathway to the pros. The Block Party is just one event in the city's moment in the national spotlight. What better place could there be for the NFL's biggest preseason event? The fit is perfect for Pittsburgh.
This has been an editorial by KDKA Radio Senior Vice President Market Manager Michael Spacciapoli. To view a transcript, go to kdkaradio.com.
It's sports down and dirty, Pittsburgh style. It's the Black and Gold Sunday Show on News Radio KDKA. Presented by Coons Market, a Pittsburgh tradition. And brought to you by Leon's Billiards and More.
All right, to dovetail on my boss's editorial, which I thought was rather appropriate, Mike Wagner, what can I say? Good friend of mine. I'll get to more of that in a moment. Gino DeMarco joining us now. Metropolitan Window video screen. You can click on KDKRadio.com and click on KDK Watch and see it and hear it stream live. Selected by the Steelers in the 11th round in the 1971 NFL Draft out of Western Illinois, Mike Wagner quickly developed from a converted wide receiver into a cornerstone of the legendary Steel Curtain defense. He spent 10 years with that club and won 4 Super Bowls, and some say the best safety the Steelers have ever had. So many years ago, and Mike and I are very close friends, on the radio with me many times. I was at a restaurant, Jimmy Mag's, in nearby Aliquippa, and there he was, and he went, Rob, and I went, Mike. And once again, I had to explain over a bowl of wedding soup why you are a great football player and why, because of you, they won 4 Super Bowl titles. And he would always say, no, I was just one of many, and it was the Steel Curtain. But, Gino, you know a little bit about football. They don't win those Super Bowls without that guy doing what he did. He did it so quietly, and there were so many big-name players up front on that 3-4 defense. that sometimes he got lost in the shuffle, but it was okay with him as long as they got the win. But make no mistake about it, Mike Wagner was a great football player.
You know, Rob, you talked about all the accolades he did have, and he played in the Super Bowl, but people don't realize the number one thing that he did, and that's he played in all but 4 games his entire career. I mean, think about that as a safety and what he brought to the table from a physicality. You know, other Steelers have talked about he was the brains behind the unit back there. I think J.T. Thomas said that. But to be able to play in your entire football career and only be hurt 4 times, to me is just remarkable. Rob, the other thing that you had mentioned, we drafted him, not we, I mean, the Steelers drafted him out of Western Illinois. Again, all the small college guys that have just done incredible things continues to just amaze me and how the Steelers found these guys. But he was a wide receiver, and they converted him to safety. I mean, how's that happen?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because most times wide receivers are usually former quarterbacks, and former quarterbacks are defensive backs. But to go from a wide receiver to a safety on a team with that kind of talent and survive 10 years, 4 titles, and only miss 4 games, something I didn't know, that's flat out incredible.
Just incredible. I got this idea way back when, and a lot of coaches have talked about it over the years, that when you really want to get a full appreciation for coaching football, you have to spend time on both sides of the ball. And perhaps the time that he spent as a receiver for the Leathernecks out there in Western Illinois is the reason why he became such a great free safety, you know, on those teams. And he was the glue back there, 76 years old. It's just, this is difficult when you see a lot of our heroes and people that, you know, Rob, you've talked with and met with, and people that interacted with everyone around the city of Pittsburgh, and they leave us earlier than we had hoped.
So Zakarian Branch is a guy the Steelers are considering a wide receiver to take in the draft in the first round. And we're going to shift to the draft now because we were talking about the 11th round, 71, a guy from Western Illinois. The draft, when you least expect it, you can find those diamonds in the rough. I mean, Pickens, of course, George Pickens, of course, came from Georgia as well, too, in the second round, only because of a knee injury bumping him down. And look what he's gone on to do. But when you're building and trying to scout and look to the draft, and the combines are coming up next week, one of the reasons why you're here, because when you were at WVU, Georgia Tech, you were the low man on the totem pole, so you had to go out and do all of this stuff. What's the job of a scout? What do scouts really do? You know, Bruce Tanner was here moments ago, scouted baseball for many years. His father was scouting for Cleveland at the latter years of his life. Jim Leland did it for Detroit for many years. But what does a scout do when you're told to go out and scout a player or a team? What do you do?
Well, it all comes from the the idea from up top, the philosophical approach of what the administration wants and from what the organization wants. Are we going to look at everybody geographically? Are we going to assign somebody to every area of the country? And then from there down, we're going to look at every place. I mean, even Division III, Rob. I mean, I will tell you, I will get contacted by at least 4 or 5 scouts every year, just looking for someone. They want to be the next guy that finds that, you know, finds that Mike Wagner, if you will. But it involves so many things now, as far as any amount of money that's invested in the draft because of only the 7-round picks. You can't miss. You can't miss on someone, and it's pretty much when it comes to quarterbacks. If you miss on a quarterback, it's going to hurt the franchise. And I know this because I talked with a friend of mine that was with the Arizona Cardinals, and they had taken a shot on, I think it was the kid from USC, and they had hoped that he was going to develop into a great player. And it was when Ken Wisenhunt was on the staff, the head coach, and he just didn't. And it probably cost them their jobs. So today it is vital. It's just vital. They do so many things and they're everywhere. They have so many questions. Social media technology has really improved and helped with this, like I said. But it all starts with the philosophy of what is coming from the front office. And that is, are we going to build it on draft? Or are we going to build it with free agents? We need to do both through trades, whatever. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. The Steelers were built in the early years based on the draft. But those times have changed.
Yeah, Bill Nunn had a lot to do with that. Obviously, worked for the new Pittsburgh Courier. Then the Pittsburgh Courier went on historic black colleges and universities and found people like Mel Blount, Donnie Shell, and others. So there is so much involved. I'm a big fan of the entire brand. That's why we do a segment every week on the NFL with Ted Arnaud. I'm a big fan of the combines are coming up next weekend through March 1st, and a lot of people don't understand why I like it so much. I just enjoy football, but Vertical Leap, the philosophy, the mental testing that they go through, and we're going to have more on that in a moment because of a tragic story that's unfolded in the last 24 hours with a former wide receiver of the Minnesota Vikings, Rondell Moore, which is a sad story. Yeah. We're going to get to that in a moment. But, in the different drills that they do, I think it's very important, especially when you think about what they're going to deal with at the next level, playing in the NFL, that awakening, that moment when they get to the NFL, but also you have to understand this is a multi-billion-dollar business. This is a professional league. There's a lot at stake, and you got to win now. So the combines and all the things that go with it and all the things that lead up to, the off-season workouts and eventually training camp, preseason, and the season, there's a reason for all of it, right, Coach?
There is a reason for all of it. I mean, they do, different intelligence tests. And each scout and each quarterback coach of each team and offensive coordinator is going to have some different type of answers that they want to hear from that quarterback or from that first round pick, second round pick. I mean, you can't miss. If you miss on one of these, it's going to cost the franchise a couple of years to recover from it. I mean, I think you could document that and look at that for most teams just in the recent 15 years of football.
All right, we got a lot more to get to with Gino DeMarco. Happy to have him here for 33 years, the head coach of Geneva College. Recently decided to call it a day, but still going to remain with the program and help out Tommy Contenta and be a part of that great faith-based school that is Geneva College, College Hill in Beaver Falls. Coons Market Black and Gold Sunday Show. Back with more in a moment. Stay with us.
When you need to talk, we're here for you. Always have been. News Radio KDKA.
Time now for a Black History Month Spotlight.
Today we honor Layla Edwards, a native of Cleveland Heights, Ohio. Edwards played a crucial role in Team USA's victory at the 2026 Winter Olympics, becoming the first Black American woman to win a gold medal in women's hockey as the U.S. defeated Canada in overtime. She also made history as the first Black woman to represent the United States in Olympic women's hockey. Edwards has spoken about facing microaggressions growing up in the sport, even being told to play basketball instead of hockey. But her father put her on skates at age 3 and helped fuel her dream. She also has a Pittsburgh connection, playing for the Pittsburgh Penguins Elite 12U team. From the rinks of Western Pennsylvania to Olympic gold, Layla Edwards is proof that perseverance breaks barriers, and today we celebrate her historic achievements.
Here's the latest from the KDKA Community Message Board.
Obsessed with pizza? So are they at Slice on Broadway. The 2025 winner of World's Best Cheese Pizza Slice is right here in the Berg with 6 Pittsburgh locations, always serving delicious New York-style pizza, hoagies, and salads. Order yours today. Visit sliceonbroadway.com. It's the weekly program that keeps you current with the latest travel trends and vacation values. Listen to AAA's Talking Travel every Saturday morning at 11 on KDKA Radio. Looking for a unique night out in Pittsburgh? Don't miss Pop Couture, Fashion, Fame, and Obsession. It's a high-energy mix of dance, music, and jaw-dropping style, making its Heinz Hall debut Monday, April 20th. Part of Pittsburgh Earth Day's Ecolution Gala. Tickets on sale now at pittsburghearthday.org/ecolution.
Details at kdkaradio.com.
Are you struggling with hearing loss? Do friends and family complain that your TV is too loud? Are you tired of asking people to repeat themselves? If you want to hear clearly again, but don't want a bulky hearing aid that makes you look old, you need to try Atom X by Audion Hearing. The Atom X is a life-changing breakthrough, precisely designed by top audio engineers, fits comfortably in your ear, is nearly invisible, and lets you adjust your sound so you can hear conversations clearly, at home, at dinner, or on the go. And right now, you can try the Atom X risk-free for 45 days. Call Audion Hearing now at 800-295-HEAR. That's HEAR for a 45-day risk-free home trial with free shipping and money-back guarantee. The Atom X is lightweight, rechargeable, practically invisible, and costs 90% less than prescription hearing aids. Don't miss out. Call 800-295-HEAR for complete details. That's 800-295-4327. Hearing for everyone. Audion Hearing.
Listen to KDKA Radio on the Odyssey, iHeartRadio, or TuneIn apps.
It's the Black and Gold Sunday Show on News Radio KDKA. Presented by Coons Market, a Pittsburgh tradition.
All right, Gino DeMarco back with us. He'll be joining us from time to time throughout the year, but back next year each and every week to follow college football with us, something he knows a little bit about. 33 years as head coach of Geneva, recently retiring, but staying on with the program to give a helping hand. Listen, this really is all about a helping hand. You and I both, you more so than me, very spiritual. We talk about mental health and why it's so important. You and I, we have our moments too, like everyone else. But when this story broke last night, I kind of had a feeling right away, and sadly, my intuition turned out to be, at least at this point, true. Minnesota Vikings wide receiver Rondale Moore died Saturday in southern Indiana. The team announced that the young man was only 25 years of age. New Albany Police Chief Todd Bailey told reporters Moore was found in his garage with a gunshot wound suspected to be self-inflicted. So how does a 25-year-old with money, all the talent in the world, playing in the biggest sport in the world, decide, at this point at least, what it looks to be, take his own life? Lots to the story, I'm sure, but just some thoughts on this tragic story, Gino.
Well, it is a horrible, horrible thing, and we're seeing more of it. And again, has this just happened in the last 10 years because of all the demands and all the money that is put on these guys? I would say no, probably not. It's just something that, when you're talking about the NFL, you're talking about football or any kind of like sport like that. It's very, very difficult to get people to actually admit or open up that they're struggling with their mental health. And because all of a sudden now you're put into a box, you're labeled, and everybody goes through ups and downs in athletics. But we're talking serious issues here when people are, in very, very deep, dark depression type things. Like how do we find out? How do we know it's bad, and what can we do to prevent it? And I think the reason more and more people are actually getting in and are doing it through athletic training into the idea of the sports psychology, and not just on how they feel so they can perform, but just how these players actually are fighting through life's ups and downs. And you're going to see more and more of this happen at the Division I level, and I'm sure in the National Football League that's the case. But again, a tragedy that we don't have an answer for. But I'm hoping, I'm really hoping that we start to continue to study this, and we do it from a medical standpoint, because there is a biological basis to this.
So we move now to Coach McCarthy. He's got his staff in place. And because we had Mike Tomlin for so many years, you plug in a coordinator or someone every once in a while along the way, one or two. But it's been a long time since Mike Tomlin, and we didn't look at it the way we do now. I think even the NFL is a bigger brand so many, 20 years later. I never realized there were so many coaches on a coaching staff, pushing 30. Why is it that you need that many coaches? You got some coaches at Geneva as well, and you're going to be one of them assistants now. Why are so many aspects at the professional level? Why is it so important to have special teams coach, quarterbacks coach, passing coordinator, offensive line, defensive line, secondary, linebackers? Why is that, Coach?
Well, let me give you an idea. And 1984 and 85, 86, when we would have a staff meeting at the Division I level, there were probably 15, maybe 18 people in the room. Now, when these guys have a meeting, we're talking about dozens and dozens of people, and it's at all different levels. But as far as the coaching staff itself, there's so many hybrid positions that are happening now in the NFL and happening in college football where, before we would say, let's just stay in a 4-3 defense and this is how we're going to coach it. And, we only have three coaches on defense, the front D-line guy, that we got the linebacker and the secondary coach. Well, I mean, you can now, with all the multiplicities taking place on offense, now you need the same type of expertise on defense to help that hybrid guy, and it happens at all three levels on the defensive side. And that's why you end up with so many coaches. And we've said this for years now. All right, the Steelers got by with a very limited, probably one of the more limited coaching staffs in all of the NFL. If you look at everyone else, they've got people, all kind of people doing something. And I'm interested to see how Coach is going to do this. And he's already expanded that idea to have more people and have more people specialized. So that's really what it comes down to, Rob, is just the specialization of the sport.
All right, so talking about something else, why is it, when we talk about the people in the trenches, especially the offensive line, we just look at them as big and burly and, hey, how much do they eat and what do they weigh? But I'm starting to find out through the powers to be and these pundits and obviously coaches that these are maybe the most athletic of all of the athletes on the field. But because of what they play, they don't seem to get the credit, although money is starting to definitely go in their direction. Why is it so crucial to have an offensive line that can actually be in sync and actually work together and produce? Why is the O-line so important?
Well, I mean, we've said it for 4 decades now that I've been along in college ball, is you only go as far as what your O-line or D-line are going to take you. And that sets everything. And a lot of it is because those guys are so, the interior defensive linemen and the offensive linemen are so, no one hears about them. They really don't have a statistic for the offensive lineman that shows up all of a sudden everywhere, on the game box that said, hey, this guy had so many pancakes. This guy, graded out at a 91% for the game. Nobody really understands that. And I think because of that reason, they go hidden. But I guarantee you this, if you want to try to find a left tackle to protect your quarterback, you better have somebody if he's right-handed. And if you want to be able to get home with 4, like what's happening right now on defense in the NFL, and also at Indiana in the national championship drive that they had, they're getting home with 4 guys. And that means that we can play a ton of coverages behind that. Well, you better have the right 4 guys. And from a standpoint of protecting the quarterback, you better have an offensive line that can now do both.
So you're coming up, you're going down the right path and the righteous path. You're a good family man, husband, of course, father, now grandfather. But, you do your due diligence in school, a little bit of a player at the college level, Baldwin Wallace, Geneva, then West Virginia, Georgia Tech. You're that, that coach in waiting. And when you think about some of the money, like Coach Cignetti is now the highest paid college football coach in the country, over $13 million plus a year. You see what some of these people have done, even if it hasn't been successful, and then they've got buyouts. Have you ever thought, because you have had success, and you could have went anywhere else, because you were on that path, you were headed down that road, that if you would have decided to stay in Division I with the glitz and glamour, all of the things that would have come with it, do you ever regret not staying the course, Gino?
I think the best thing for me was that I got a chance to work 3 years at a Division I school. And we did, some, like you said, some mundane work, but also the 2 places that I was fortunate to be with Bill Curry and with Don Nealon. I mean, I had some responsibilities that I was just absolutely blessed to have. But I did see where this thing was heading. I mean, it is just, I just didn't feel like I wanted to take my family all across the country. And, you got to commit to that type of lifestyle at the Division I and at the NFL level if you're going to get into it. So to me, it was eye-opening, and I just felt like I was trying to get a blend of family and, as you said, Christian faith, and in as much football as I could get. And truthfully, Geneva, I was blessed to have a job at Geneva as the head football coach and assistant there before for so many years. But there's a cost to everything, as we know. There really is. There's a cost to leadership. There's a cost of all of this. And I'll just say, everybody looks at what the money these guys are making, and it's just like never before. But I will say this to you: in 1990, there was an offensive line coach that we had at West Virginia that went to Ohio State, just an incredible guy. And he just said, as we were walking into, I remember this, we were down in New Orleans at the convention, we were walking in, and he said, because the money is just so much that I had to take the job at Ohio State. And that's in 1990.
Right. Listen, I can't thank you enough. We'll do it again. You enlighten me every time I get a chance to spend with you, and you definitely inform this audience. So enjoy the rest of your Sunday, okay?
Rob, I want everybody to Google the 1967 Major League Baseball All-Star Game and take a look at who was playing in that game. Because you had talked about Dick Rote at shortstop. Well, there was a guy that Maz also brought along named Gene Alley that was in that as well.
Yep.
But you look at all these guys in this, and this is the reason why baseball for us as kids it was just absolutely everything.
It was
67 All-Star game, and Maz leaving. That's tough stuff here. So thanks, Rob. Appreciate this opportunity. Really do. God bless.
All right, man. Be good. All right, stay with us. We got the news coming up next.
Been 30, time would have been 30, no, would have been 30, being 30, been 29. If that'll help, been 29,000.
Get ready to bid on the equipment you need in the Ritchie Brothers Northeast Regional event on March 25th and 26th. Inventory is housed at locations in Pittsburgh, Northeast Maryland, and North Franklin, Connecticut, with in-person inspections available. Bid on a wide selection of construction and transportation equipment. Don't miss this great opportunity. Visit rbauction.com/Pittsburgh to sign up. Again, that's rbauction.com/Pittsburgh.
Y108 presents Odyssey the Night Before, powered by Bowser Chevrolet, starring Jason Aldean.
Hey, what's up, Pittsburgh? I'm Jason Aldean.
With special guests John Morgan and Shane Prophet. Wednesday, April 22nd, inside the Event Center at Rivers Casino, Pittsburgh.
So we have a little bit of fun. Y'all ready?
You can't buy a ticket to this show. You can only win your way in. Full details at y108.com. Presented by Miller Lite and brought to you by Giant Eagle, Pool City, True Green, and Broken Bow Records.
From the Aetna Medicare Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
It is 33 degrees at Pittsburgh International at 12:30. I'm Rob Taylor. State police say a 7-year-old boy died after being hit by a vehicle in Greene County. It's happened around 4:30 Saturday afternoon along South 88 Road in Monongahela Township. Police say the boy was walking across the road when he was hit by a Honda HR-V that was driven by a 92-year-old man. State police are investigating the incident. Police are investigating after a 69-year-old man was found dead inside a Butler home. James Hoover was found dead inside a home at a 400 block of Miller Avenue around 4 o'clock Saturday afternoon. Police have called Hoover's death a homicide. Police later said a 37-year-old man believed to be the suspect was apprehended. Suspect's name has not been released. KDK Radio News Time is 12:31. Next update's at 1. I'm Rob Taylor on the Voice of Pittsburgh News Radio KDK.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-265-7681. 800-265-7681. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-265-7681.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Hi, Paul Alexander with some breaking news. This September, head west with me for a 5-day Arizona adventure based in beautiful Flagstaff, where cool mountain air and wide open skies still mean something. From there, we'll explore Sedona's Red Rock Country, where freedom feels as big as the views. Stand at the edge of the Grand Canyon, one of America's greatest natural treasures, and take in the crystal blue waters of Lake Powell, carved by time, grit, and nature, not Washington bureaucrats. 5 days, one unforgettable trip, history, adventure, and American beauty, all without the crowds or summer heat. September's the perfect time to go, and these spots will fill up quickly. Don't wait. Give Cruise and Tour a call. Travel with KDKA.com to book your Arizona escape and see firsthand what makes this country worth exploring. Call 800-383-3131 or go to travelwithkdka.com for all the details and to reserve your spot. That's 800-383-3131 or travelwithkdka.com.
The KDKA AccuWeather forecast is brought to you by JP Roofing and Siding, Pittsburgh's #1 Platinum Preferred Roofing Replacement Contractor. Call 412-829-7711.
A cloudy day awaits us today with more snow out there, high 33. It continues off and on tonight and tomorrow, accumulating 1 to 3 inches. 27 tonight, 32 tomorrow in clouds, and 33 Tuesday. For AccuWeather, I'm Bill Degger, 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
All right, it is chilly now over the weekend. Monday, I'll be back in a little bit late start. We got warm weather baseball down in Florida, so catch me Monday after Pirate Baseball, all the way till 6 o'clock. Colin Dunlap, KDK.
All right, here he is, Ted Arnaud, back with us for his weekly feature that is the National Football League. Teddy, how are you?
Doing great, Rob. How you doing?
I am spectacular, sir. Always great to hear your voice. Great to have you back. So, talking just moments ago to Gino DeMarco, we had a little time to talk about the upcoming combines. I'm the person that will be watching the NFL Network when I get home from my radio show this week because I love it, and it'll roll into the weekend when they actually have the combine. You're a guy that always talks about repetition, and how it's so important. An old special teams coach at the high school level saw it firsthand what it did during your son's tenure at Oak Glen. So talk to me about why this matters and why it's so important. Go ahead.
Well, I think they get to see what the players are like time and again so that they see some repetition. They see what kind of action they have, foot action, hip action, how they can turn their hips. And it's just really important to watch because as much as you think on paper a player looks really good, when you really watch him, there may be some hitches in his giddy up, so to speak, that may not lend itself really well in the NFL.
So shifting gears just quickly, so Duke knocks off number one Michigan, your school, your son's school, in college basketball yesterday. And I was just thinking about money and where we're headed in college sports. Do you think someday that we'll see more athletes deciding to forget college and go right to the pros? Because, well, the money's there, but the bottom line, the money's also in college. But if you get a chance to play at the pro level, and if you're going to get injured, you might as well get injured there as opposed to college. I still think because of the possibility of injury, college doesn't mean as much as it used to, even if they are making big bags of money. But sooner or later, the NFL, even though they've always used that as like a teaching ground, kind of like their minor league, they're got to be realizing that they're missing out on a lot of talent that would be at this combine and at the upcoming draft here in Pittsburgh. What do you make of that?
Well, I think an 18-year-old, 19-year-old, their body is still developing, and I don't know that they're ready for prime time. It's like our good friend who unfortunately didn't make it into the Hall of Fame this year, L.C. Greenwood, used to tell me that you cannot even realize the difference in hitting just between a regular season game and a playoff game, but you can imagine what the different intensity in hitting is when you're a 19, 20-year-old, 18-year-old college kid going up playing against 26, 27-year-old, well-groomed, well-conditioned players. It's tough. I think that 4 years in college gives them a little bit of time to develop, and I could see why maybe juniors want to take the leap, but I don't think anything before that.
So the draft will be here before you know it. And watching the NFL Network the other night, one of the things that surprised me, they said that it's front-loaded with a lot of edge rushers. So how all of a sudden did edge rushing become such a five-star position? Go ahead.
It's because it's the inverse of the increase in the passing game. The only way you're going to really attack these passers, these young quarterbacks that can release the ball quickly, can run, is to have something on the other side of the ball that can counteract their ability and the receivers. So you got to put pressure on the quarterbacks, and that's where that comes. So it's really just the inverse of the advent of the passing game and how important it is in the NFL now.
The draft coming to Pittsburgh, you know, we were on the travel show yesterday, and they actually have a getaway. They booked some rooms at one of the hotels downtown, and I'm sure if they haven't called 800-354-8761, that's 800-354-8761, it'll probably be sold out in the next day or two. Why has this become such a big event? That's all I've been hearing about, the draft, the draft, the draft. If you don't have a room, you better get one. You won't be able to get that downtown because it'll be just a sea of people. I've seen it on television. Why has this become a Super Bowl outside the Super Bowl?
Well, it's the start of the next NFL season, really, when you think about it. And the NFL has just done such a great job of marketing it. And everybody's team is in the playoffs, so to speak, for the draft. Even if you had a really bad season the year before, the fact that you're going to draft up is really important. So fans are looking for that next year and what they can possibly add to their roster. So it's just really the advent of the whole new season, the 26 football season. And, you know, we've seen it, and I think this is going to be such a huge event for Pittsburgh. Like you said, rooms are selling out. Trust me, you better make your restaurant reservation right now, because this place is going to be rocking. And what a great thing for Corey O'Connor. He comes in and you get this show on TV called The Pit. You get the draft here in Pittsburgh. You get all the excitement of the NFL rolling up into one. What a great deal.
Listen, I've said for the longest time, the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. Yeah, he's a little different for sure, as my sons are compared to me, but the drive is there. And what he did recently with the snowstorm and what he's been doing, generating revenue to buy more equipment, and he's got a 5 o'clock shadow more times than not because it doesn't even take time to shave. Come on now, Ted. Does he not remind us of our friend, his late father, Bob O'Connor? Come on.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, Bob and Judy. Judy was a really smart, hard worker. You got brother Terry and Heidi. You got the whole family melds into one great group for Pittsburgh. It's kind of like Pittsburgh on steroids as far as the O'Connor family's concerned.
They're amazing. Absolutely love them. Now, listen, we're going to come back and talk about some of the Steelers' needs, but one of the needs they don't need is an edge rusher. They're pretty good there, but as far as their defensive line, Benton has really stepped it up, looking for big things from a healthier in his second season Harmon. And Cam Hayward, the question is, how long can this guy play?
He can play. He's already played pretty long. I'm not so sure he showed any signs of letting up at all.
None at all. Now, listen, your other buddy who used to hang out at Mountaineer, Joey Porter Sr., recently went off on Ben Roethlisberger, but that's a story for another day. But his son, Joey Jr., who played at NA and Penn State, where can we expect him to be heading into another year? What do you expect from him to take it to the next level?
Well, I think if he can keep his hands to the point where he's not getting all the penalties, he's just going to be that much better than he was. I think he is one of the premier players at that position, and I think he's just going to get better. I really do.
We got to talk about, I talked to Gino about him, and I've been blogging about him. Mike Wagner, who passed away, was my buddy recently, obviously, First National Bank in finance. Guy was brilliant, but he comes in the 11th round out of Western Illinois, ends up playing 10 years, only missing 4 games, and wins 4 titles, and many consider the greatest safety in the history of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Some kind of player, Mike Wagner. Teddy.
Great player and a great guy, and he was a good business person. So he had it all, and he had the personality to go along with it. It wasn't a one-off. He was just really good and very consistent all the time.
You know, the other person, Bill Maz, passed away, Mazeroski, and I alluded to this, but it kind of ties into you. So decades ago, I'm at this place called Buckeye High School West down in Ohio doing a game, and I'm trying to get the running back Billy West, who many thought was going to be as great as Tony Dorsett. Didn't turn out that good, but did have a great career at Pitt. Kind of did the old Ted Arnott marketing thing, got coaches in line with other coaches, and it happened. And I was in the broadcast booth one night, and I simply said, this kid's got to be the greatest athlete in the history of this high school. And my color analyst simply said, no, he's the second greatest. And I said, who could be better than Billy, as I used to call him, Wild Wild West? And he said, Bill Mazeroski. And I went, Bill Mazeroski went to high school here. And then I find out, just absolutely excited, that Bob Duffy, who was a friend of mine, was the sports editor at the Evening Review in East Liverpool, played high school baseball for East Liverpool at the same time, played in a championship game, I think, for the state title against Maz, said he knew then. A couple of years later, Maz hits the historic homer against the Yankees' 7th and final deciding game, and Bob is covering it as a sports reporter. And, of course, growing up in a coal mining community, something you're well aware of, and a lot of tough people, even a great Hannes Wagner, who was born in nearby Carnegie, kind of connected to that industry. That was a very different time, but these hard workers that were working in the steel mills and the coal mines, they wanted their children to basically take it to the next level and find a way out of the mines or the steel mills, and that's why sports was such an important part of their life, and that's what made Bill Mazeroski have the grit to have the ability to do what he did in the major leagues. Ted.
Yeah, but you look at that Ohio Valley all the way up and down. They had some tremendous athletes from back then. Lou the Toe, Groza, Havlicek, just on and on and on. It was really kind of one of the most premier places to be from going into any kind of professional sport, wrestling, name it. Best quarterback maybe ever in football. I mean, who knows?
Yeah, you're right.
It was just a great place to be from.
Yeah, Bridgeport had the Necro brothers, Phil and Joe, and that knuckleball. You mentioned Joe Namath, Jim Kelly, Dan Marino. I mean, it's Joe Montana. It just is endless. All right, we'll come back. We'll talk about some of the Steelers' needs as we head to that draft, but more importantly, the Combines next weekend on the NFL Network in Indianapolis, Indiana. It's the brand that never stops. It's the National Football League, and that's why Ted joins us each and every week throughout the season and off-season on the Coons Market Black and Gold Sunday Show with your Pratt Pack. We'll be back.
We're only 60 days until the draft. Everything you need to know surrounding the draft is right here. It's brought to you by Bill Few Associates Wealth Management, 100.1 FM, and AM 1020 KDKA.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL or visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on. Visit CordellCordell.com to schedule your consultation.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell and Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell and Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. Pittsburgh and Cranberry Township. Joseph Cordell, licensed in Missouri and Illinois.
I'm talking with John Diagardi of Rome Monument about something he feels people should avoid. John, can you elaborate?
I sure can, Rob. When a loved one passes, their spouse and relatives are under stress. They feel pressure to get things taken care of quickly.
Is that not a good idea?
Not when it comes to the monument. Rob, when the funeral is over, when everyone goes home, the monument is the one thing that is permanent. 50, even 100 years from now, that monument will still be there. Families need to take time to make decisions about the best way to memorialize their loved one.
John, how can families avoid making a costly mistake?
People shouldn't make quick decisions under stress that they'll regret later. For over 80 years, Rome Monument has helped thousands of families create a lasting tribute to their loved ones. And when you're ready, Rome Monument will be there.
Great advice, John. Friends, visit one of Rome Monument's 9 showrooms or learn more at RomeMonuments.com.
Ready for custom window treatments? You've got options. At Lachina Drapery and Blind Factory, the Lachina family has been serving Pittsburgh homeowners for over 60 years. Choose from custom blinds, shades, shutters, and draperies made in Lachina's own factory and tailored to your home. Enjoy Lachina's free shop at home service or visit one of Lachina's 2 convenient locations in Dormont or Wexford. Call 412-665-4900. That's 412-665-4900. Lachina Drapery and Blind Factory. The quality you deserve.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You've got a big day, so you use Unstoppable Scent Boosters to give your laundry non-stop freshness. So no matter how long the day goes, you
can't stop this power, this walk, this pose, this strut, this look, this talk.
Your clothes will be so fresh you can confidently strut into that end of the day meeting like a
boss, 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 bosses. Let's talk business in my office.
Add new Unstoppable beads to your wash for 24-hour non-stop freshness so you can smell unstoppable.
SchultzFord.com, 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 SchultzFord.com.
It's the Black and Gold Sunday Show on News Radio KDKA. Presented by Coons Market, a Pittsburgh tradition.
Look, all I can say is Mitch Trubisky. I hope that maybe Steeler fans will just go slow, even if things don't work out well this year, and give Will Howard maybe a shot, or even Mason Rudolph. But more importantly, everybody's been throwing in names like Malik Willis and Kyler Murray. Teddy, they got to be very careful what they do here with this quarterback situation and even bringing Aaron Rodgers back. I would rather throw caution to the wind and see what they can do with Will Howard than any of the other things that I just mentioned. Go ahead.
Yeah, they've got to figure that out, and then they got to get the receiver room straightened out. I mean, Calvin Austin's contract's up. He's probably the second best receiver, in my opinion. You've got Gainwell, who's a great running back, but also can catch the ball. They need to do some real heavy-duty work on the receiving core and the quarterback core. I mean, they almost got to work in tandem on that. And I agree with you. I mean, I'm not sure that Rodgers is the answer. I don't think that he's going to allow them to stretch the ball very much. So maybe you do give Will Howard. Maybe you get one of the quarterbacks that are on free agency to back him up. I think Mason Rudolph, as much as I think his pedigree is pretty good, he's been on a bunch of teams, I just think it's time to move on from those players.
Yeah, listen, you got to understand there's a reason why Malik Willis bounced around and didn't go as high as they thought when he came out of Liberty. And Aaron Rodgers is going to be 43 next December, and you do slow down for sure. And if you can't move and run the football with authority, it's going to be very tough to make it in the National Football League. And I think the future is letting some of these top picks at least sit for a couple of years. And he wasn't a top pick, but Will Howard has had a chance to season a little bit. And I think he's won everywhere he has gone, including a national championship at the prestigious Ohio State. And he is 6'5", and he is mobile, and he weighs 240, and he can take a beating, and he can throw the football on a dime, on a rope, and deep. So I think your best opportunity is to cultivate him and let Mike McCarthy do what he did with Aaron Rodgers, what he did with Dak Prescott. If there was ever an opportunity to maybe have that guy, you have to at least put the spotlight on him before you turn the lights off, Teddy.
Yeah, I think we got a guy who's the coach who's a quarterback whisperer, if you might say. But I'm not sure Aaron Rodgers can hear him anymore. I think Will Howard, he could take him. I just think you need to have a steady backup. Let them fight for the position, maybe one of the guys in free agency. But, I mean, kind of give the nod to Will Howard if he's making any kind of a move at all. You'll know that by the time preseason is over. I just think it's time to move on. You got a new coach. Yes, he did work with Aaron Rodgers. I just know. I think Aaron Rodgers was a decent, had a decent year, not a great year. But, I mean, they need to really take both sides of that, the quarterback and the receivers.
Look, it's even been a longer time than people think. Big Ben in the final couple years, obviously injuries slowing down as well, too, because he took a beating, multiple concussions. It's been a very long time, maybe going back to that Super Bowl in 2005. I mean, they've really not been themselves. They won a playoff game in 2016. Coach Tomlin has done an incredible job, and I think people someday will realize, or at least I hope they do, one of the greatest coaches in the history of the National Football League. He will be a first ballot Hall of Famer, and I wouldn't be shocked if he never coaches anywhere again, because he, like Coach Cowher, absolutely loves this city and can't envision themselves coaching anywhere else. But one place that the Steelers have turned out, I think, to do a lot more than people realize, because you don't see it enough, Adam Frazier has come a long way. I think this offensive line has done some things to be very excited about. And I think Darnell Washington, coming off the broken arm, which in the world of football, that's like scraping your knee. He'll be back from that. I think there's some things to really get excited about. And if they can find a solid number 2 receiver, I think the Steelers will be okay.
Yeah, I think, Gainwell's contract's up. They've got to try and maybe get him back, because I think he had just such a great breakout year. But Zach Frazier and the younger linemen that they have, I think they've got a real nucleus to build around. Zach Frazier's going to wind up being like one of the classic Pittsburgh Steelers centers that we're going to look back 10, 12 years from now, and he'll still be there.
So Coach Cowher from Crafton, yeah, you can go home. Mike McCarthy, he's not the same raw, in-your-face type of coach. But do you think this will be a recipe for success because of the home cooking and him having ties to Greenfield, which also happens to be the hometown of the late, great Mayor Bob O'Connor? Your thoughts?
Well, I think he was a good coach. I mean, obviously he's won a Super Bowl. He had to go down to Dallas, which in my opinion would be one of the hardest head coaching jobs you could possibly secure, since you've got an owner who really thinks he's a head coach. And I think he did very well. You look at his record in Dallas. You look at what he did with the quarterback in Dallas. He's kind of a quarterback-centric kind of coach. And I think he's the kind of guy who can come in and really make things happen, whether it's through free agency or the guys they have. I think he's the kind of coach that can really turn that on.
Listen, I'm still not sold on some of the new things that have happened in the way of coaches and players and, retreads as far as the rest of the conference is concerned. And I know Joe Burrow, if he can stay healthy, is dangerous. I know what Lamar Jackson can do. But I still think the Steelers, if they can find that quarterback, that can keep them upright, I think they not only challenge for the conference, but I think they can win it.
Yeah, I think, well, you got to look, the conference doesn't have a clear leader, and I think Lamar, he showed his weaknesses last year. So in Cincinnati, I just cannot figure out how they can't have a breakout year. But Cleveland, I don't know how many more coaches or quarterbacks they're going to have to go through before they get someplace. But I think Pittsburgh's sitting in a pretty good position if they can solve those two sides of the ball, quarterback and receiver.
Teddy, always a pleasure. We'll check back with you same time, same station next week. Enjoy your Sunday, okay?
You got it. You too.
All right, listen, stay with us. I am done for the day. Not actually, because I'm going to go to the Montour Home Show at the AHN Sports Complex right there in Montour. Absolutely love it. It's a free event, and according to Mr. Oster, already filling up. I'll be there just on my own dime, hanging out with Doug a little bit, and I'm going to do the same thing next week at the Cold Springs Complex, in which we're going to be out in the South Hills. Andy Amron, who's celebrating his birthday today. Happy birthday, Andy, and Doug and I. And even Larry Rich are going to be out there next week as well. So until tomorrow night at 6, it's your Pratt Pack. Enjoy the rest of your day. Have a better week ahead. And Rob Taylor coming up next with a very busy news report, because it's been a busy day on KDKA.
The Big K Morning Show with Larry Richards.
Sheldon Williams, your new City of Pittsburgh Public Safety Director.
Just really want your listeners to know that one of the benefits, I would say, and the opportunities that I have to serve in this capacity is bringing a variety of experiences that I have and perspectives to better serve the citizens of Pittsburgh.
Weekday mornings 5:30 to 10 on the Voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020. KDKA.
The Village at St. Barnabas, the perfect place for mom.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
Shopping for replacement windows? Metropolitan Window Company elevates your shopping experience.
John, Maggie, and Justin Schmutzer here from Metropolitan Window Company, Pittsburgh's locally owned and family-operated window and door company for over 47 years.
When you choose Metropolitan Window Company, you'll experience personalized knowledge, expertise, and professionalism from our first visit to your home until our craftsmen complete your installation.
We're the window company that people want in their homes, and our exclusive Infinity by Marvin 100% fiberglass windows are the windows people love.
They're built for life. They are the strongest, longest-lasting windows you can buy.
And we have a great selection of colors and finishes. Experience Metropolitan Window Company. Stop by our showrooms, visit us at metropolitanwindows.com, or give us a call at 412-655-8411.
PA 1565.
100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA. Covered by JP Roofing and Siding. Pittsburgh's #1 platinum roofing company.
KDKA and KDKA FM HD2 Pittsburgh. W261AX Pittsburgh.
From the Aetna Medicare Studios.
Proud to be the voice of Pittsburgh. 100.1 FM and AM 1020 KDKA.
It is 34 degrees at Pittsburgh International at 1 o'clock. I'm Rob Taylor. State police are investigating after a 7-year-old boy died after being hit by a vehicle in Greene County. This happened around 4:30 Saturday afternoon along South 88 Road in Monongahela Township. Police say the boy was walking across the road when he was hit by a Honda HR-V driven by a 92-year-old man. State police continue their investigation. A man is dead following an officer-involved shooting in Heidelberg. Police say a man was threatening to harm themselves inside a home on Washington Street just after midnight. And when police arrived, they found the man outside the home with a knife. Police then say the man disobeyed orders to drop the knife, and he allegedly charged towards the officers. Scott Township police officer then shot the man multiple times. The man later died at the hospital. Allegheny County police are leading that investigation. And police are investigating after a 69-year-old man was found dead inside a Butler home. James Hoover found dead inside a home in a 400 block of Miller Avenue. This happened around 4 o'clock Saturday afternoon. Police have called Hoover's death a homicide, and state police later said a 37-year-old man believed to be the suspect has been apprehended. Suspect's name has not been released. Well, today marks 41 years since then 8-year-old Cherry Mahan disappeared after getting off a school bus near her Winfield Township, Butler County home. Matthew Glover, a reporter with the Butler Eagle, joined KDKA Radio's Rob Pratt this morning and discussed how there's renewed interest in the case, largely thanks to Steve Ridge, a private investigator.
And one of the other things that he's brought is a lot of attention with a $100,000 award that he offered at a news conference in 2025. And so that has brought a lot of renewed attention to the case. Some people that have thought maybe they didn't have any, or maybe they don't have anything to say, but maybe now that that reward has come up, that gives them a little more motivation to come out and speak if they had seen or heard anything about the case.
A group known as Cherry's Angels have made a push to help solve the case. Well, for the first time in 46 years, U.S. won the Olympic gold medal in men's hockey. This morning, U.S. defeated Canada in overtime 2-1 to claim the gold. Jack Hughes' shot a few minutes in overtime was the golden goal. And Robert Morris men's hockey coach Derek Schooley weighed in on the big moment this morning with KDKA Radio's Rob Pratt.
Oh, what an instant classic that game was. That was outstanding. I think you saw passion, you saw penalties, you saw drama, you saw big saves by both goalies. That game had everything. And people always talk they want more scoring.